Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the Singapore Injustice Podcast. I'm one of the co hosts, Kush, and this is Max, and today we're going to be taking a brief look into some of the injustices in Singapore for this series.
I read that the Temasek Foundation pledges 300,000 free meals for needy stricken workers by COVID-19.
Yeah.
And what the idea I want to communicate isn't as much this exact foundation doing this one thing. I think it's the general. I think it's the general attitude, and and you'll hear I'm going to outline a few other foundations with which students can work and volunteer some time for that make these meals. So I'm going to start off by describing the situation a little. So COVID has affected us and the CIS community, but we are lucky to be part of a community that is rather well off and has stability. Our parents, at the end of the day, mostly, still have a job that pays well enough for us to go to this amazing and incredible school, luckily. Thousands of people in Singapore, from Bangladeshi construction workers to helpers to the average Singaporean or foreigner, simply can't feed his or her family for reasons beyond his control and reasons because of COVID. So I'm looking more at exactly what COVID caused, because
Yeah, like a lot of layoffs, a lot of regular people losing their jobs, which is not ideal and it's very, very stressful.
I can
And,
yeah. Can't imagine having a job one day and the next day being told that you're laid off just because some important person in your company deemed you to be an ineffective allocation of money or resources. I think that's really sad that some people are pushed to side like that just to save money. So I'm gonna be since COVID has forced many to be in vulnerable positions. NGOs and other organizations, whether governmentally owned or not, have been trying to make the blow less hard by donating supplies, shelter, and most of all, and most importantly, food.
Yeah.
This leads us into a little segment about the Temasek Foundation and their incredible donations and deeds towards towards this good cause of trying their best to feed hungry migrant workers who are either having trouble finding a job or even despite having a job, having to deal with cuts in their
Salary.
salaries and in their just what they're allowed in a day.
Yeah.
So the Temasek Foundation is a foundation owned by the government, but considered relatively non-governmental because the government it's owned by the government. However, the government doesn't have lots of say in what happens, and
Yeah.
it's not like they're not they don't lead. It's owned, but they don't lead. So the organization has many investments in places all over the world, from purely business interests to investment opportunities. But they also have some investments that could be considered investments, could also be considered donations. Depends on how you want to put it. Yeah.
One sec. So investments. Tell us about what these investments are for. Like,
So the Temasek Foundation, despite in this case doing some good, is a foundation that has many business interests, such as maybe seeing an overseas company that might be beneficial for Singapore to be a part of.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're mostly interests like that, but
They also use that profits.
exactly. So that's what I was going to get into. They've pledged to donate more than a third of a million meals to the needy in times of COVID. They also outlined that the needy, quote, include and are mostly exclusive to the workers that migrated here to find a job and to work and support their families back home. This includes both helpers and migrant workers, as well as anyone else. It's just, if you need it, you can have it. And that's the idea. That's the ideology behind this donation.